In this lesson, we'll take a look at how we can utilize the dielectric sample compositing node. So with this node, we have the ability to now add dielectric refractive capabilities to any of our base shaders. So let's take a look at how we can use this. Let's go over to our base Lambert, or rather our base blend material. And we can come in and expose the input and output connections for this. There we go, so that way we can gain access to the shading group. And just like all the other sample compositing nodes, this can be used as a bridge to connect our base shader to its shading group. So let's go down to the sample compositing and drop in the MIB dielectric. So let's go ahead and just start by double clicking on this. The first thing we need to do is take our base material, middle click, and drop it into the input of our dielectric material, or dielectric shader. And then we can take this dielectric shader, middle click, and drop it into the material shading port of our shading group. Alright, so let's take a quick render at what we have right now. Now we can start to see that we do get a little bit of a transparent effect that begins to happen here. But right now we actually don't have enough of these ray tracing refraction rays. So we need to come back in and start to bump up the ray tracing quality. So we'll go into the quality tab and take a look inside ray tracing and make sure we give this enough ray interactions. We'll start with something like 8 and 8. And we'll make sure that the max trace depth is something like the actual sum of these two numbers. Let's give this a second to re-render. Alright, and now we can actually see the refractive ability starting to take effect here, so we can actually start to see through this object. Alright, let's actually go ahead and close this out. We'll go back to our hypershade and take a look at some of the attributes that we do have available to us. So we have the input. Just below that we have the absorb, which is the tendency for this object to either absorb light or not to absorb it. So really you won't be able to see much of a difference on the absorption by just simply moving between black and white. What you will start to see a difference though is when we start to increase the value of this to something past 1. So if we were to begin to increase this to something like 1.2, and if we save this for comparison and re-render, now we can really start to see the effect of this light absorption beginning to take effect. So this is probably a little bit too much, so with this particular value, a little bit goes really a long ways. Alright, so again, you can start to see now how the light absorption now becomes a little bit stronger with this. So just below this, we have the refraction. Now this particular attribute can be a little bit confusing because we have refraction, but just below that we have index of refraction. So it seems like at first glance these may be doing something very similar. But really this refraction, you can really think of it as just the blending value between our original base material and this dielectric material that we have composited on top. So you can see with the refraction all the way down to 0, really we just get the base shader, our blend material. And once this refraction goes all the way up to 1, we're now completely relying on the dielectric material for the effect. So with the refraction all the way up to 1, this should now appear as a glass-like material. And you can start to see that that is exactly what we get. However, this does start to bring about one of the limitations of this particular node as far as really having complete transparency, is that this sample compositing node does not calculate any kind of specularity. So you can see that we actually do not have any kind of specular highlights or any kind of these white shiny areas that we would expect to see around any of these edges if you compare what we had before. So again, that is one of the limitations of this particular sample compositing node. So if at all possible, you would probably want to avoid having this set to a refraction of 1. Below this we have the index of refraction, which really just controls how strongly or how weakly the light is refracted through our object. So if we were to set this to a fairly low value, something like 1.1, and re-render this, you can see that we get a much, much weaker refractive effect compared to what we had before. And if we were to take the refraction index all the way down to 1, that would basically mean no refraction whatsoever. The light would not be perturbed at all as it passes through. So that's a quick look at the dielectric sample compositing node.